Yahweh Shemel Shai. Yahweh Shemel Shai. Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai.
Shah La War.
Surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of the Lord thy God, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish, yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together, to beautify the place of my sanctuary. And I will make the place of my feet glorious. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, and all they that despised thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of the Lord, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles, and shalt suck the breast of kings, and thou shalt know that I, the Lord, am thy Savior and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob. For brass I will bring gold, and for iron I will bring silver, and for wood brass, and for stones iron. I will also make thy officers peace, and thine exactors righteousness. Violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders. But thou shalt call thy walls salvation, and thy gates praise. The sun shall be no more thy light by day, neither for brightness shall the moon give light unto thee. But the Lord shall be unto thee an everlasting light, and thy God thy glory.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples for his younger brothers. And peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, and what I want to get into today, all right, is dealing with the book of Sirach, chapter 10 and verse 1. Now, well, the whole chapter, I want to deal, jump around this whole chapter. This is a good chapter, especially in times that we're coming into, because this chapter goes into addressing, all right, the leadership, the rulership, okay, it addresses rulership. And right now, the planet Earth has a rulership problem, okay? Now, we can speak about all the things that's going on under, okay, the rulership of Esau Edom, okay? But we cannot go without speaking about this man's rulership, the rulership itself, okay, which is wicked, deceptive, corruptive, okay? It's corrupted as hell, defiled, lewd, okay, chaotic, violent, okay? So every problem, that's happening in the planet Earth, well, guess what? that falls under Esau Edom. And see, this devil was so quick, to exalt himself, okay, when he, so-called has some type of achievement. He's so quick to exalt himself and, magnify himself to the world, okay, behind some so-called achievement, okay, some science breakthrough, some technological breakthrough. He's so big to, magnify himself to the world. All right, but what about the problems? Okay, this devil, this nigga Esau, okay, he takes credit for all the good things that happen in the earth, but everything that's happening that's wrong, he blames it on the poor. You see, he's a goddamn devil, man. Here it is, he's in rulership. So you're responsible for the good and the bad. You're responsible for it all. Okay, to whom much is given, which the earth has been given into the hand of the wicked, much is required. Okay, and that's why the Lord is going to require, okay, a judgment. That's why the Lord is going to require such a harsh judgment for you devils, because you're responsible for everything that's happening in the earth under your rulership, man. Okay, all the bad and wickedness that this devil allows, okay, that he sets up systems, okay, to afford wickedness. He's responsible for all that, man. Okay, so when you go to the book of Sirach, chapter 10, verse 1, it says, a wise king will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. Okay, and this is what the earth lacks. The earth lacks true wisdom. The earth lacks a wise, all right, rulership. Okay, the planet Earth is suffering on the poor management of Esau Edom, the so-called white man, beginning with Amalek. Okay, that's the problem of the earth. You see, he has people, divided, distracted, confused, and they're arguing about, okay, the product, okay, of this man's rulership. But the problem is the rulership itself. Okay, and this is what the Bible addresses, man. Okay, and the wise judge, that's going to be Yahweh Shai. Lord will join heirs, will be part, okay, of the wise rulership that's coming to the earth. Okay, that's why you go here and get a few precepts to go into that. This is the book of Isaiah 32 and 1. I'm gonna read it in the ANT. It says, "Behold, the king will reign in righteousness, and princes will rule with justice." Okay, and this is how it's shot in 144,000. The righteous, eternal government that's getting ready to be established in the earth. Okay, when we see 144 all over the place, well, it represents a new government, a righteous government that the Lord's going to establish in the earth, headed by Yahweh Shai. Okay, so Yahweh Shai is the king that's coming to reign in righteousness, and those princes, which princes is just another another word for ruler. Okay, because you will have a king, and the king will set up princes all throughout his kingdom. Okay, and give them provinces to rule. Okay, so Yahweh Shai is going to do that with the earth, beginning in Israel and working his way out. He's going to give those first fruit jurisdictions to rule. Okay, under him. We're going to be an extension of the throne of David that's in the earth. Okay, and wisdom is going to reign forever in the earth. True wisdom, true justice. Okay, equity. Okay, it's going to be a fair kingdom. Okay, even these heathens going through 1,000 years of rigorous captivity, that's a fair judgment, man. Okay, for conspiring with the devil to rebel against Yahweh by Shema Shai. Okay, and Esau being done away with after 1,000 years for leading this rebellion, that's righteous judgment, man. Okay, if you don't look at Esau Edom and see that this nigga needs to be done away with, you're a part of the problem, man. Okay, and you don't look at the so-called white man as a problem of the planet Earth, you're a part of the problem, man. Okay, so let's go from there. Let's get this in Isaiah chapter 9. Okay, in verse 6. It's the book of Isaiah chapter 9. In verse 6, it said, "For unto us a child is born, and unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the mighty power, the everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace, man. You know, and one of his titles is Wonderful Counselor. Okay, because the count, because as a ruler, well, the earth is ruled by your counsel. Okay, so the earth is going to be ruled with the counsel of Yahweh, man, which is direct wisdom and justice from the Father. Okay, the scriptures say he and his Father are one, which they are one in agreement. They're two different entities, but they're one in agreement. Okay, so Yahweh is just going to be as if the Most High himself is on the earth, man, ruling through his Son. Okay, and we're going to be an extension of that authority in the earth. Abarazazah we endure as those joint heirs, man. Okay, but we're on that final stretch, man. This that final stretch. You know, things are finna tighten up. You see, the Most High's putting the pressure on Esau as to tighten up. All right, and do what he got to do, make the moves he needs to make. Okay, these niggas are obsessed with this AI, which all that's good. All that play in our favor. That's good that this nigga, okay, is making moves quickly. Okay, and he's doing things more drastic. Okay, more impulsive. He's getting more reckless. Okay, and this is exactly what we need according to the will of Yahweh by Shema Shai. Now, just go back. Okay, it says Sirach 10:2. It says, "As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers." Okay, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. Okay, and you can look at the the lower class is a reflection of who's in power. Okay, when you look at society, well, that reflects who's in power. Okay, you want to know the character of your rulers, well, just look at society, because they're a reflection of the rulership. Okay, and then you look at the planet Earth, man, you can tell this is a wicked rulership. Everybody's conniving, everybody's scheming, everybody's manipulative, everybody cutthroat, everybody plotting. Okay, dysfunction, chaos, violent. Okay, lewdness. Okay, alphabet. All this is because it's a reflection of who's in power. Okay, the things that this devil allows shows you his character. Because Esau allows this wickedness to take place. He allows drugs. He allows XCX trafficking. Okay, he allows the food to be poisoned. He allows, GMOs. Okay, he allows guns, to be distributed everywhere, and there's gun violence. Okay, prisons, prison industrial complex. Okay, wars everywhere, all the time. You see, third world country. This is what this devil allows in his rulership. Okay, in certain cases, he has systems to protect, with, okay, going forward, and that's why even, matter of fact, let's go here. Okay, this is the book of this is the second Ezra 2 in verse 7. All right, this is the book of Second Ezra chapter 2, verse 7. It says, "Let them be scattered abroad among the heathen. Let their names be put out of the earth, for they have despised my covenant." Okay, now this verse 7. I mean, this Salaki, I meant to give verse 8. I ain't even reading verse 7. They were speaking of Israel. Salaki. I meant to give verse 8, talking about the devil. It said, "Woe be unto thee, Ashur." It's Second Ezra 2 and 8. "Woe be unto thee, Ashur, that thou hidest," and said, "Thou that hidest the unrighteous in thee, O thou wicked people, remember what I did unto Sodom and Gomorrah." Okay, so it's speaking of ancient Assyria. You know, there was a wicked empire, it was a lewd empire. You look up the last Assyrian king, that nigga was into cross-dressing. Okay, wearing women clothing. Okay, it was just lewdness, man. You see? So you look at America, all right, which is likened to Assyria as well. Well, they hide wickedness in this kingdom, man, which hide it means you protect it. So this man has systems set up that protect wickedness, man. Okay, children can go get surgery. change their gender. Okay? And that's protected. You see? They'll condemn the parents for hate speech if they speak against their children, okay, wanting to change, genders, man. Okay? Same-sex marriage is recognized. Okay? This is society that this man has established in this pure wickedness, man. But the scriptures say, woe be unto thee, O Shur, all right, or Assyria, that thou hidest the unrighteous in thee, man. Oh, thou wicked people, remember what I did to Sodom and Gomorrah, man. So Sodom and Gomorrah was an example of what happens to a nation that lives after lewdness, man. And what does Esau do? He revived their spirit back in the earth, man. Okay, he passes laws to protect sodomy. Okay, he pushes this now. It's common. You can be watching little series, Netflix, Prime, whatever. Okay, pretty good narrative. About 2-3 episodes in, what did the nigga throw in the mix every time? Okay, alphabet has nothing to do with the narrative. It's just thrown in the mix. Okay, you got to have a whole scene with these niggas laid up. Okay, talking, and this nigga do it, down there every series, man. Okay, so this man promotes, complete rebellion against Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. So if you want to look at the character if you want to measure the character of the rulers, you don't have to see the rulers, you don't have to meet them, you don't have to know who's ruling, but you can measure their character by, the society, the condition of the society, the spirit that's in society. Okay, so let's go back to Sirach 10:3. It says, an unrighteous king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited, man. And Esau is this unwise king that destroyed his own people, man. That's why it's time for something else, man. This man's mindset is just built on destroying people. Okay, he wants to depopulate. The scriptures say, be fruitful and multiply. Well, he has all these agendas to depopulate. Okay? This man, he infuses death into everything. You see, everything that's supposed to be for our good and, the essentials of man, this man has turned it into wickedness, man. Matter of fact, let's get that in Sirach 39. Okay, Sirach 39 and 26. It said, the principal things for the whole use of a man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of the grape, and oil and clothing. Okay, so these are the principal things for a man's life. All the things of the earth, man. The earth is abundant enough for everybody to be good. Okay, like when Yahweh Shah said we have the poor always amongst us, because he knew this nigga would be in power, man. Okay, he knew Esau would be in power, hoard up the resources. Okay, he knew his rulership, within the rulership of Esau Edom. Okay, because these last, 500 plus years, this nigga has been in power. Okay, and the system that he sets up, they create generational poverty, man. We had laws against it. So when Yahweh Shah said we have the poor with us always, he knew we was going to come back in this wicked kingdom, man. Okay? Pagan Rome revived back in the earth again, man. Okay? Where the wealth trickled up, to the higher ups. Okay? And the masses starved. Okay? Or was in survival mode. That's this nigga style of government. He can call it communism, socialism, fascism, neo technocrats, or whatever you want to call it, man. All these isms, and but at the end of the day, this man, his whole system is set up. Every government this man has is set up to where wealth, trickles up, and poverty is sustained generationally, man. And these few elites, they retain wealth generationally, while the masses retain poverty generational, man. Okay, just a complete wicked system that this man has established in the earth, man. You know, I wonder if I look that up on the chat if it give us something, man. And he's just an unwise ruler, man. He pushes division amongst family, the man and woman, parents and children. Okay, he pushes, domestic. He push, gangs. He furnishes, these gangs, like these niggas be having military grade weapons. Like, why niggas never run out of bullets? Okay, niggas have all these felonies and but niggas never run out of bullets. Niggas always got the latest guns. Okay, 12, 13 clip, goddamn hanging all. You see a nigga in the clip be out here 12, 13. You like, goddamn, where is this nigga getting this from, man? Okay, but this man's system that forged that, man. Okay, that's why violence is off the charts. Okay, but then he'll jump in the neighborhood and play hero with the violence that he finances, man. Okay, then he glorifies in his music in Hollywood. Okay, now niggas are wicked for still participate. Nigga and the nigga women that participate, all right, with this devil in this wickedness, they carry out his wickedness, man. Okay, but we can't not mention this nigga. And see, when this nigga is moved, that's gonna be part of the fix-all. Esau being removed from the power is the beginning of the fix-all Yahweh Shai is coming with. Because this nigga is gonna be removed from power, and Yahweh Shai is gonna establish a righteous government in the earth, man. And that's gonna fix all the problems of the earth. Okay? But just trying to fix, trying to tweak this nigga kingdom for it to be right, he not right. Okay, you can't tweak a part of something that's corrupted, man. Okay, if you have a house and the foundation is off, is weak, the house is sliding. Okay, painting the walls ain't gonna stop the whole house from sliding, man. Okay, putting a new TV in the house ain't gonna stop the house from sliding. Okay, and being destroyed, man. Okay, and people think that they can just tweak this nigga kingdom and it's just gonna start working properly. Okay, and righteously. Well, it is working properly, and it's not meant to be righteous. Okay, you have to understand this nigga kingdom is working exactly how he wants it to work. Okay, which is wicked. You see, it's violent, division, confusion, poverty. Okay, these things are intentional in this man's kingdom, man. These things ain't just some glitch. Like something is wrong with the system. No, something is wrong with the rulers. Okay, and they ain't the Democrats, in 2008, they signed this bill, man, and this why, nah, man. Okay, it's the people that you don't see who set this system up to be rigged, okay, in their favor, okay, and against, okay, the favor of the masses, man, especially the Israelites, man. Okay, so let me look this up real quick. Let's see. So I'm gonna ask it real quick just to see what it say. The Rome's economy favored the rich and kept a permanent, all right, poor class. Chat might give us some. All right, so it says, I asked the Rome's economy favored the rich, all right, and kept a permanent poor class. Short answer, yes. Rome's economy largely favored the rich and tended to keep a permanent poor class, though there were moments and mechanisms that softened but didn't fix, all right, the inequality, man. Just like You had the New Deal, okay, back in the 30s with FDR, Franklin Roosevelt, whenever he created, certain bills and rights and unions for it was for the working class Edomite family. Okay, a few Jakes that was, worked their way up, benefited, but mostly it was for the middle class, Esau's middle class. Okay, but they still didn't fix the inequality of the whole system. But it gave this delusion, okay, that the government was working in your favor. Because Esau got to give you something every now and then to keep the delusion going. Okay, but you had moments like that in Rome, where you seen little sparks of prosperity amongst, the middle class, but ultimately the economy was set up and fixed to favor the rich, okay, and keep the masses poor. Okay, so how Rome favored the rich, Land ownership was everything. Wealth and political power came from land, and over time, huge estates swallowed up small farms. Wait a minute, that sounds familiar. And over time, huge estates swallow up small farms. Elites bought land cheaply when small farms fell into debt or were away at war. Slave labor undercut free workers. Okay, so slave labor undercut free workers. You see, does that sound like the migrants that come and work for pennies? Okay, hey, it's the same thing, man. Slave labor undercut free workers. Conquest brought in massive numbers of slaves, making labor extremely cheap. This pushed wages down and made it hard for poor free Romans to compete. Okay, and it's the same system that's set up, man. Predatory capitalist system, man. Okay, to where they prey on the masses that's in survival mode. They give them just enough to survive. Okay, and then just this big rat race where you have the majority of the people fighting over the crumbs of the elites, man. Okay, that's a wicked rulership. It said politics protected elite interests. Senators and equestrians, the wealthy class, wrote and enforced laws. Okay, you look at these senators and Republicans and representatives, man. These people are worth tens of millions of dollars. Some of them are billionaires, man. Okay, some of them worth a few $100 million, man. Some of these mayors and governors and these people are wealthy, man. And these are the same thing that was going on back then is happening now. Okay, it said politics protected elite interests. Senators and equestrians, the wealthy class, wrote and enforced the laws. Reforms that threatened elite wealth, like land redistribution, were often blocked or violently opposed. Think of the Gracchi brothers. Okay, so as you can see, and especially under Trump, you see everything is working in the favor of the elites. Okay, everything is meant to work for the favor of the elites, man. You see, there's no laws, there's no legislation that's coming down the pipe that benefit the common man. Okay, because the devil, he wants to go into this new world order with the rich, the wealthy, okay, the super rich and the wealthy, the elites, stronger than ever, and everyone else, all right, desperate as ever, man. Okay, this is what the devil is doing. He's extrapolating the wealth from the masses on purpose, man. He wants to own all the resources and everything. Remember, the new world order is meant for you to own nothing and be happy. Okay, be happy that he's allowing you to eat a steak this month. Okay, be happy that you get allowed to travel beyond a certain radius in the smart city. Okay, that you are being allowed to go to a park. Okay, you might be allowed to have a child. Maybe. Okay, depending on what the population is, depending on what the carbon footprint of the earth look like, man. This is what this nigga is on, man. This is tyranny on another level because he got technology that, pagan Rome didn't have. Ancient pagan Rome didn't have, man. Okay? It said politics protected elite interests. Senators and equestrians, the wealthy class, wrote and enforced the laws. Reforms that threatened elite wealth, like land redistribution, were often blocked and violently, oppressed. It says tax system hit the poor harder. In the provinces, especially, tax forming, all right, it said tax forming enriched elites while squeezing peasants and small producers. And this also played a part, why the zealots, they went against Rome, man. Okay, because Rome would tax the brakes off the peasants, man. Okay, like the tax was unbearable, so they'll tax the hell out of the poor, so the few elite rich can live these lavish, okay, and what they call one-ton undisciplined lives, man. Okay, so they can live presumptuously. Okay, going back to the rich man, that's the spirit of Esau. He did as Rome, and he did as ancient Rome, and he doing it again in New Rome. So he just has much more technology, man. Okay, and then the devil found a hack in the economy to where he can just print money, print wealth out of nothing. He doesn't have to produce anything. He can just print wealth, with the U.S. dollar. Okay. So this is Rome reloaded on steroids, this system, man. But the same principles that was happening during Rome that favored, what economy favored the rich and kept a permanent poor class, well, that system is back. And the New World Order just doubling down on this system. Okay? It's putting a padlock on the system to where ain't nobody breaking through. That's his intention. But the Lord gonna break this shit up, man. Okay? It said the permanent poor class in the city of Rome, there was a large urban poor, all right, the plebs who owned little or nothing. Many depended on grain doles, all right, like government assistance, occasional public jobs. You see, occasional public jobs, patron-client relationship with wealthy Roman. This wasn't a temporary phase for most people. It was structural. Social mobility existed, but it was limited and rare. Okay? It was limited and rare, man. Okay? So we see the same system. Okay, this is the image. This is part of the image of the beast. This economy as well. This economy is another part of the image of the beast, man. Okay, the rich get rich, the poor get poor. That's another main part of this the image of the beast, man, that this devil, is causing to speak today. Okay, so going back to Sirach 10. Oh yeah, did I finish 39? I'm gonna read this again. Sirach 39 and 26. Okay, Sirach 39 and 26 said the principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, salt, flour, flour, wheat, honey, milk, blood of the grape, and the oil and clothing. All these things are for the good. All right. All these things are for good to the godly. So to the sinners, they are turned into evil, man. Okay. All these things are good for the godly, but to sinners, they are turned unto evil, man. Esau has turned everything that's supposed to benefit. Even it ain't about everybody being rich. Okay, because even when you look at it, most people just want to take care of their family, man. Okay, they just want to have some substance for their family. Okay, they just want to have resources for their family. Okay, so it's not even about being super rich, man. There's way more than enough to where people can have stability, man. Okay, but this man makes it to where you got to go to war just to be normal. People can't even be normal. People can't even, you have to, destroy yourself laboring just to have a piece of stability, man, in this system. Okay, and that's wicked. Okay, because after 1,000 years, man, the heathen, they're going to enjoy stability, man. They're not going to never have what we have. Okay, they're not going to be part of the covenant. They're not going to have immortality, spiritual powers. You know, it's always going to be a major gulf fix between us and the heathen. And right, it's way bigger than wealth. Okay, it's going to be wisdom, power. Okay, access. You see, so it's always going to be a major gulf fix, man. But it's not going to be any sweat off our back for the heathens to have stability, excluding Esau, which is going to be done away with. But for these other nations to have stability, okay, and thrive after 1,000 years of their captivity, man, we're not going to look at this like we're losing something. Okay, or we got to keep these niggas in the certain. Nah, man, the heathens, they're going to be able to do their thing, man. Okay, and have stability, man. Men are going to be able to support themselves and their family. The woman going to get to be a woman in her role. The children, okay, are going to grow into inheritance. Okay, every generation not going to have to start over like in this society, man. Okay, well, this is the rulership of Esau. Okay, which is extremely wicked and unbalanced, man. Okay, so let's go here. Even a woman was supposed to be a blessing to a man. Okay, he turned the woman to a nightmare. The majority of women is a goddamn nightmare, man. Okay, it wasn't meant to be like that. You see, family wasn't meant to be a burden. All these things were meant to be a blessing, man. A wife, wives, children. Okay, these things were meant to be a blessing, man. This man has turned everything that the Lord meant to be a blessing to a burden. Okay? But Yahushua is coming to set everything all right. That's why you read verse 4. It says the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord. And in due time, he will set over it one that is profitable. Okay? And that's going to be Yahushua. Okay? And Lord will, we those joint heirs with Yahushua, man. We're going to aid him in being profitable. You know, the earth itself. Okay? The animals, the plants, you know, the earth itself, man. The soil, the water. The water has to be cleansed, man. You see? This devil is destroying drinkable water, man. And then he wants to use drinkable water for these goddamn data centers, man. This man, the devil, man. He's already making water undrinkable, but then the drinkable water is left. This nigga want to power the data center, all right, for that scam AI, man. Okay? For that overhyped AI. He wanted to use the majority of drinking water for that, man. This man has to be stopped. This man is the problem. Okay? When this nigga is removed, that's going to be a major step forward for righteousness springing forth in the earth, man. When this nigga is removed from power and put in chains, man. Okay? That's going to be a major leap forward for righteousness, man. Okay? So it said the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over one that is profitable, man. And that's going to be Yahushua. Okay? And I say, Lord will, we old joint heirs is being trained up to be righteous judges alongside Yahushua. Okay? It says, I'm going to jump down to verse 8. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And their one people, okay, is going to be from Edomites. Okay, the people that's ruling now, he represents the end of an age. Okay, and then another people going to be Jacob. That's why Jacob held the heel of Esau. Okay, because at the end of Esau's age, Jacob would stand up in rulership in this place. You know, because another definition for Yahweh, you know, is, of course, a supplanter, because we're supplanting this devil. The Lord has given us the Rakakwadash in these latter days, and this devil is supplanted. Okay, because everything the devil is trying to do to suppress the word, okay, trying to set up a new system, so to try to disprove, you know, the scriptures, okay, he just supplanting himself, okay, and all we're doing is provoking the devil to supplant himself, man. Okay, so Jacob got his ass again. Okay, this nigga, hey, he's in the trick bag now. Okay, Esau's in the point of no return to where he got to make the rest of the moves he got to make, and he out of there. Okay, Esau don't got a lot of options on the chessboard, man. He already checkmated. He's just staring at that piece. Okay, his hand on that piece, and he's trying. No, you got to move that piece. You out of there. You got a few moves left to make. Okay, and you got a few options left: the MOTB, Jacob Trouble, and this Third World War. Okay, so this man ain't got many moves left. The Lord got this nigga number. You see? So because of unrighteous dealings, because this man has established an empire based on wickedness, man, and deception. Okay, all lies, man. Okay, this man flourishes in people being confused, distracted, and divided. Okay, and people believing the lie. Okay, and that's unrighteousness, man. Okay, systems that create permanent poverty. That's unrighteous, man. Okay, he wants to be the one to distribute all the resources out according to his liking, man. Okay, he wants to be in the seat of the Most High, man. The Lord is going to remove this man, all right, from power altogether, man. Okay, and a righteous rulership is going to be highly appreciated after having to deal with this nigga, man. Okay, the Lord is setting it up to where the earth is going to enjoy a righteous rulership, man. Okay, forever. All right. And these heathens after 1,000 years, they're going to enjoy it when they got to go through captivity. They got to go through their process of being chastened for 1,000 years for following this man in their rebellion, man. Okay. So let's read this. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 6, verse 24. It said, but the multitude of the wise is the welfare of the world, and a wise king is the upholding of the people. Okay, and the wise king is the upholding of the people, man. So the welfare of the world, okay, is with the wise rulers, man. And this is what the Lord is reestablishing, getting ready to reestablish in the earth. Okay, are wise rulers, man. This devil, he's not it. Okay, he never was. Okay, he never had a good thing going, man. Okay, it was all rooted in wickedness, man. It just reached a point to where, you know, it's just so out of control, man. Heavenly Father got to intervene, you know. So that's the point. You know, Lord will you brothers, all right, and you sisters edify once again. We give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful Shalom.